Hey, so I'm down a fascinating rabbit hole, and that is death certificates here in the state of Florida. I got sent down the rabbit hole of death certificates related to a call that came in that just provoked some really interesting questions. We were trying to figure out whether somebody died. But I realized that in all my years, almost 30, dealing with death and probate and stuff like that, I didn't know much about death certificates. And so the questions that come up frequently about death certificates is, can you find out how someone died? Now, we all know when somebody dies, if it's not a family member or something like that, the chatterbox is out there trying to figure out, ooh, how'd she die? Is it something suspicious or whatever else like that? But if it's somebody famous or somebody well known or whatever, there are some questions about, how did they die? And of course, the press is circling around and the gossip people are circling around trying to find that. But the reality is, death certificates are public documents. Birth certificates are public documents, and so too death, public documents. And so people are interested in it. There's a public purpose behind tracking deaths. Now, one of the important distinctions is the long form death certificate, in which the cause of death is included with on there, and then the short form death certificate. Now, in probate cases, we're relying primarily on the short form death certificate, and we will go through a thing of redacting out cause of death if we got a long form death certificate. But sometimes that cause of death is included on there. That becomes problematic in things like suicide, accident, illnesses, overdoses. But it also becomes required in things like insurance policies. Sometimes there's some benefits that there's questions regarding cause of death. And that can be a real problem, real tension in there between what's public and what's not. Sometimes a death certificate says it's pending. So we may be some investigations that include toxicology, autopsy, maybe law enforcement investigations, in which that's going to be pending. And sometimes it could be pending for a long period of time. But the bottom line is, in most circumstances, the medical certification by the medical examiner or by the attending physician should be within 72 hours. That's what the statute tells us. But this is Googled quite frequently, quite frankly. People are looking for answers, questions about deaths. Press are looking for these things when they're talking about famous people. But it's not just famous people, right? So community leaders, even family members, got to understand something. When that death certificate's filed, it's got an OR book and page number. People with access to the system, like attorneys, can find that. And we just log right in there and we find that thing. So death certificates are an important topic. If you're interested in that, please like, subscribe, share some additional information.